Hello, everybody. It's AJ from the Toku Podcast, along with Jay and Chad.
Hello.
And
hello.
welcome to a TELEBIKUN, which, as you don't know by now, is basically just everything that we don't have enough to talk about in the actual podcast. So, hello. So, what are we talking about today? Well, viewers, we're not really talking about anything. We're more like asking Chad, how did they fuck up ZIO more? As in, Chad went to go see the ZIO movie, and we're going to ask him about it. So, Chad, if you may, tell us how this came about, because people are going to be like, how the fuck did you see it early, you hacker?
Oh yeah, clearly, because one, I begged so hard on the internet that someone actually gave me a free copy of the movie, and I have
Shirakura himself came to your house, and he's like, here you go, pal.
Yeah, I just begged him on Twitter, and he just basically gave me, you know what, here's a file for the movie, enjoy it, there are no subtitles.
No, like, he came to Chad's house in a car made of the unsold copies that they know they're not going to sell. It just came in, beep, beep.
But yeah, to be on a little more serious note, yes, I was in Japan for the past 2 months, from, I guess, end of May to beginning of August, so it's like around 2-ish months, give or take, or like a little more than 2 months, something like that. And, yeah, I was out there for 2 months. I was able to see the movie while I was out there, so just a little bit of a long story short, so.
So.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. But yes, so Chad,
Yeah.
I guess we'll ask you a few questions about the movie then. I guess we'll just ask you a few things. So
no problem.
First off, because this is the question that I came into going in. We're not really going to go in order, guys. We're more like just going to ask some questions, and again, if you don't know already, spoilers. I don't know if you don't know this already. We're basically talking about the movie here. So Chad, so this is what I wanted to ask.
Yes.
And I'm going to pretend that I don't know. Kayfabe. So, Chad, what the fuck is WAS?
Okay, WAS is apparently what they call a Quartzer, and then the Quartzers are like, I guess, people that oversee history or something like that, and it's just like, it's really weird. And basically, WAS's duty was to lead, like, I guess, humans into, like, the new era, basically the Reiwa era, I guess, as it is.
So
like,
he's like the Monitor from DC, or I guess the Watchers from Marvel.
Basically, he's just like, he oversees time and history, apparently, or that's what the Quartzer's job is supposed to be initially. And, like, if my translation isn't, like, if it's not right, or it should be something like that, just take some note, like, there's going to be a few holes here and there. Mainly because, one, I was taking notes about the movie, and also, two, my Japanese may or may not be as great, or, like, I tried to keep up. There are some things I couldn't make sense of, aside from the fact that this is GO. But,
well, I was going to say, so, he's a because, again, he's a Quartzer, you know, as dumb as that sounds. So, he's basically supposed to lead humans into the Reiwa era. Okay, fine. What I need to ask now is there something that prevents him from actually, or I should say, is he allowed to mess with time as much as he did in the actual show, you know, becoming, you know, Kamen Rider was and all that shit? Or is a Quartzer literally just supposed to be like, just get from A to B no matter what happens? Just fucking do it. Is that how it goes?
Basically, from what I think it is, it's more or less going from point A to B. However, like, if the Quartzers don't see something they see something they don't like, then they have free range to, like, change history. As you'll see with the main problem of the movie, which is, well, the Quartzers' motivation.
They just don't like anything.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I heard is that our big bad here is another version of Sogo or something like that.
It's okay. That one was really weird, and I actually had a hard time understanding that. And whenever the subtitles come out for that, it's probably gonna make a little more sense, but probably by not much. So basically, you know how in the opening narrations, like, Wolves always refers to Sogo as a normal high schooler Tokiwa Sogo, right? Uh-huh. So then basically, you know, you have, like, this plot actually does take into account that they do need to get the Drive Ride Watch, and once they get the Drive Ride Watch, like legitimately, like he can become Oma ZIO initially, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then basically, like from what I think I understood of it was basically, it was Sogo's a red herring for some other dude by the name of Tokiwa Sogo, which is written in English in the credits.
Okay.
And then basically he's like, oh, yeah, JK, man, you're not actually Tokiwa Sogo because I'm Tokiwa Sogo. And you're not the actual king because I'm actually the king. So, you're a red herring, you got me the ride watches,
telling
and
me
gone.
here is... so ZIO is even more of a fucking waste of time than we already imagined.
Basically.
Because now you're telling me that this entire time... Again, this is... By the way, this is assuming this movie's canon. I don't know. Because at this point, nobody fucking knows what's canon anymore because Shakira fucked everything up. So I'm going to assume this movie's canon. So
to be honest, I actually have no idea if this is canon either. I'll go into that later.
So, as I was saying, so Sogo, we basically now know that, as you just told me, it was not really supposed to be Sogo. Again, we're going to assume this is canon, as I said. So that basically tells us the entirety of ZIO has just been a waste of time because we have, Tokiwa Sogo, ZIO, the one that we have, wasn't really supposed to be the king. It's some other dude.
See, that's the thing. It's really weird because there are some scenes that did make it onto YouTube, first and foremost. Like the camera, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but basically it's the final climax scene and basically Oma form, right?
Uh-huh.
So
yeah,
that's
I've seen the transformation so far. That's about it.
Yeah, so, okay, so I think, like, the clips are on YouTube somewhere. If you guys actually want to go watch that, that's your deal. But honestly, okay, first off, the climax fight was actually really cool. But, I mean, Oma form is basically... Okay, first off, that came out of nowhere. But, basically, Oma ZIO, it's still supposed to be Sogo. Like, the Sogo that we know, that we followed throughout the whole series. And, frankly, he's like... Do you believe you're supposed to be the king? And just like, yeah, I'm supposed to be the king. And it's like, well, okay, coolio, dude. So you are supposed to be the king. Like, don't let anyone else stand in your way. Not even these people that are overseeing, like, the Heisei era and whatnot. It's really weird. It didn't make sense.
Wow, ZIO not making sense?
I mean, to be honest,
Surely you jest.
Like, honestly, this movie changes up a whole lot of things, mainly because it's an anniversary film. So,
naturally.
Oh yeah, no, definitely it did because like in the beginning you get a Wol's narration and it's like his basically rejoice, and it's like he talks about 01. You see 01 in the first scenes of the movie.
What?
Yeah, you see 01 in the first scenes of the movie in the very beginning, and that's apparently a dream, and then that which leads to a clever fourth wall break, in which ZIO has a dream and he's like, wow, I had a weird dream that my time as ZIO ended, and there was a new writer. And then Gates is like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what? Okay, like, seriously, there are a whole bunch of fourth wall breaks in this, like, movie.
That probably actually makes it even more confusing.
It's actually sort of funny, it's actually sort of interesting at times, but, like, there are some moments where it's actually, like, there is one fourth wall break moment that's actually really touching. But though that goes into a larger scale of things. Or, like, not a larger scale, but, like, a larger part of things.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to assume the whole 01 thing is going to... You know what, fuck it. I'm going to try and do my best to connect it to the show as possible. So I'm going to assume the 01 thing is him shaping the future with his dreams again, like he did with Kikai. I'm going to just say that. Let's hope it works.
Possibly.
Maybe.
We don't really know, because honestly, this movie, in canon or not, we have no idea. Because, frankly... A lot of things happen in this movie that are negated in the series, but yet the series has callbacks to the movie, which makes equally sense, aka
I love
no
when
sense.
they do that.
So let's start with that. What exactly is negated in what in the movie is negated in the series completely?
Okay, so first off, the existence of the Quartzers, like, there's no mention of them in the series. Like, we have no idea who the hell they are and why they even mattered in the first place. Second, there's a scene in the climax of the movie, which you can find on YouTube. It's like that large 18-minute clip of, like, the whole climax. Basically, where Wolz rips his book, he rips his book and like he apparently like he brings back all the powers of the riders, saying like, oh yeah, the future isn't written anymore. Like, you gotta let the future play out. And with that, like, the book is basically destroyed. It has no use of it anymore. There is no use of the book, and yet in the series you'll see in his narrations and in other parts of the movie, or like the series, that he still has his book.
Again, this whole thing sounds like it would be better off if, like, again, I can't say that because it doesn't, because the whole thing with the ending of ZIO, like the actual ending of ZIO. This sounds like it would have been better off as the ending of ZIO, but again, we can't have it as the ending of ZIO because, well, he reset everything.
Yeah, and besides that, let's see, the actual ending of the movie, it ends with Gates and Tsukuyomi basically fading out of history, and also during some points of the movie, Woz actually gets stabbed and killed.
Okay.
So, like, first off, Tsukuyomi and Gates don't exist anymore, mainly because, like, history is rewritten. Like, Sogo, you're on the path of becoming the good king now. Like history is gone. Like, Omagio doesn't, like, exist anymore. And then besides that, just, like, it also, like, retcons the ending as well, because, like, you see, like, basically, Woz gets killed, Gates and Tsukuyomi basically fade out of history. Sogo's depressed, and then he goes back to the clock shop only to find them waiting for him to go eat dinner.
What?
Wow.
So, yeah,
Okay.
that made no sense.
I'm, like, trying to, like, I'm not gonna lie, my brain is almost, like, shutting down because I'm trying to make sense of everything you've just told me. Because,
Yeah.
You know what you just did, Chad?
Yeah.
You kind of just brought up a huge ass plot hole in the series itself.
Yeah.
In the sense that even though Sogo turned into Omazio in the show, he wasn't evil, which kind of negates the whole thing that Gaze and Tsukuyomi would even need to go back to begin with. So that means they should have been dead from the beginning. Wow,
Yeah,
this hurts.
It made no sense. It really made no sense. However, there's also a really big point in the series where, like, we saw Chaser come back, right? Machine Chaser, or Chase. I mean, it's nice to see that we got Chase back, first off. We love Chase. But, so in the series, Gates makes a reference to Shijima Go, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And basically, that's, like, who the movie is supposed to be advertising. Like, oh yeah, we got Shijima Go and Krim Steinbelt back for the movie.
Yay.
And yet, that makes no sense, because, seriously, there is no mention of, like, any of the events of the movie happening, except for the fact that Gates is saying, oh yeah, we met Shijima Go, do you remember your friend? And whatnot. And just, like, it creates a whole bunch of, like, bigger plot holes.
This entire thing keeps making the series look even dumber, because if they're still trying to, like, tie it into the movie, it doesn't really make sense at all.
It really doesn't. Like, these are just, like, the worst points of the movie that made no sense, aside from the fact that, like, the first fourth of the movie is actually dedicated to getting the Drive Watch, which is, in itself, was honestly really stupid. I really didn't enjoy it.
Yeah, I was about to ask. So, how irrelevant in the plot is Go and Krim?
Okay,
are they completely irrelevant, or are they just mostly irrelevant?
Like, I'd say they're mostly irrelevant, because, like, 3/4 of the movie is actually dedicated to, like, basically fighting the Quartzers and, like, the movie, like, the actual movie things, right?
Yeah.
So, obtaining the Drive Watch was a really weird point. It was like, you gotta have, like, your lighthearted humor, basically, before you get into the nitty-gritty, like, okay, this is actually serious Kamen Rider. So, again, going back to the beginning, like, after the dream sequence, like, there's a news thing in which they saw Gates and the Time Majin in, like, historical Japanese paintings. And it's like, oh shit, we just uncovered some, like, new paintings. In which, like, there's actually, like, there's a giant robot and some dude in weird armor. Who is that? And oh shit, it's Gates. And why is he in, like, the Sengoku era?
Oh, so it's like in the Den-O movie where they find the scroll and they see the Den liner and Momotaro's there. Ah, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's fine. All right.
And pretty much, Krim actually speaks through to them via the Drive Watch, saying like, "Hey, look, you gotta protect my ancestor and like protect this cross thing because if, like, my family heirloom is this cross and, like, as long as it's created and like as long as it's safe, then like basically you'll confirm that Krim's Steinbelts will eventually appear in like the future.
He will be.
So
born.
basically, yeah, he will be born, and it's basically a protect the artifacts mission."
Okay.
This is dumb.
So yeah, but aside from that, like you also see that also actually leads us into our first fight, which is like Geon, Gates, and Mach versus Zamonas, or like the Amazons styled rider.
Oh my god! Yeah, I forgot about these things. Yeah.
Yeah, that reminds me. I was gonna ask. So is there any like significance to the movie writers being the Amazons, and then there's the Zeto through Shin and Black RX? Is there any significance to them being, since they're technically Showa writers, even though they were made in the Heisei era? Is there any significance to that, or is it just like a clever little nod?
It's more or less a clever little nod, mainly because like this movie was definitely meant for, I guess, older fans. Because here's the thing, because like, you know, Shin, Zeto, J, and like Black RX, as well as Amazon's writers, they're basically like unofficial Heisei writers, because they were technically born in the Heisei era, but like, you know, they weren't actually like, they're considered Showa writers for all we care, except for Amazons, because clearly like no one cares about them.
But Amazons don't count anyways, so yeah.
Yeah, they don't count anyways, but like basically those are just like little nods to like saying like, hey, look, you know these Heisei writers that were actually technically born in the Heisei era? Yeah, don't worry, we didn't forget about them. And that's basically actually some of the coolest parts, actually. Those are some cool parts, I'm not gonna lie.
Okay, yeah, I'm fine with that. I was just just curious if it was like actually relevant or is just a fun little meta joke. All right.
It's a fun little meta joke, but it's actually really cool. But those are actually some of the good parts. But I don't know how much of the bad we want to continue talking about. But like, what do you want me to? What do you guys got questions about?
Honestly, I don't really have much because it just kind of seemed like a basic movie. Just kind of go over your positives and negatives, really.
Okay, definitely the negatives. A lot of plot holes. Initially, when I saw the movie, I thought it would take place at the end of properly at the end of the series, right? But no, it doesn't, and it makes no sense. And I don't see how the Quartzers were ever like really relevant. And that brings me to their motivation. So.
Oh boy.
Okay, so you know Build's finale in which, like, they basically collided worlds in order to make a new world, right?
I kind of realized they'd done that twice. No, actually, no, Zio did it in reverse. No, yeah, Zio did the reverse of Builds.
So, yeah, this movie, the Quartzers are trying to do that with, like, the current timeline. They're gonna, like, basically open up a giant time hole in which they suck in, like, 2019/2018. And then they basically collide it with the past version of Earth because they want to redo the Heisei era.
Huh?
Yeah. Basically, they want to just redo the Heisei era because they weren't satisfied with how this current era turned out.
I mean, if you want to redo, like, you know, Wizard to fucking Build, by all means, fuck this place. Go for it.
Yeah, but basically
I got no problem here.
Like, they're basically saying, okay, so the Heisei era was a big failure, so we're gonna go back in time.
We're gonna take more like Toei's talking.
Yeah, and it's just like they're saying like we're gonna move the planet Earth, like we're gonna move it into this timeline so that we can redo everything and make it less of a failure. That is basically their whole motivation, and it was really stupid.
That sounds like what Toei wishes they could do. We're gonna take Hibiki and make it into a financial success.
See, as a plot, that's not a terrible idea. It's the idea, you know, oh, these guys who watch over time. It's like, well, we thought this was shit. We want to give you guys a better chance, but we want our own hand in it, you know, etc. It could be done better, but it's a decent idea of like, wanting to redo history because you aren't satisfied with something there. It
Now-
could have worked, but I'm sure, considering the writer, they probably botched hard.
Now, see, here's the thing I'm gonna bring up, and this kind of comes back to what we were talking about when we did our ZIO review, and this is something that I funny enough, I was actually listening to our review earlier because for some reason I just had like an inkling to do it, and it kind of brought up something that we didn't actually go too deep into because we kind of like moved on to something else during the review. Okay, so the Quartzers want to merge the Earths into a past self to basically redo the Heisei era, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That brings up an entire problem of the ending because remember when I asked, is every Earth in ZIO's universe, Kuga's world, Blade's world, Agito's world, all those worlds, are those worlds their separate worlds, and within those separate worlds there can be alternate timelines of those separate worlds in those worlds? Or is it like there's all these worlds and then there's a separate timeline with all those worlds, so on and so on and so on and so forth? Because if that's the case, then I don't think ZIO really did shit in the end in his own series. Because again, I need that question answered. Are there like timelines within timelines within timelines within worlds, or just all these worlds and then you have to go into a completely different dimension? You know what I'm saying here? Like,
yeah,
I
get what you're saying. Yeah, definitely. And to be honest, this movie does not answer that. Like, it really makes no sense, and frankly, I have no idea how to answer that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I was like that's why I brought it up the last time, because when you put that into context, especially in this movie, you would technically, honestly, if that was the case, you could make the argument that the Quartzers are literally just trying to erase ZIO to redo it. Which
Possibly.
I'm fine with.
I mean, that's a funny little meta thing of, this show sucked, let's restart it. As the villains, that's fine. That's a funny little plot. That's a nice little meta thing to do.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
because then they really would. Because again, if we're going by the fact that this is ZIO's world and nothing else, then really, what are they fucking like? They're not changing anything. They're just erasing ZIO. And I'm like,
basically,
right, that's fine. Fuck them. I don't care. Let the Quartzers.
Yeah, where's the problem?
Right?
There were no stakes here. There
and
really were no
stakes.
stakes.
Value was lost.
And it's just, yeah, but yeah, that's basically the worst thing I have to say. It's like, the plot and motivations were sort of weak. It was a little weird, but like in the end, like that's all I actually really have to say. Like, that's actually bad about the movie. But like the actual good of the movie, it's actually okay. Considering this is ZIO, like ZIO's the fact that it's ZIO is basically dragging it down. And like
manga Kuga.
Okay, so cameos.
I gotta get to that, because what the fuck is that?
Okay, no. Fucking cameos, okay? I'm gonna start with the first cameo. Let's see. Okay, Krim and like Go, they were there just to give the Drive Ride Watch, and also for like to satisfy Drive fans of just like, oh hey, he's here, so. And then 01, you weren't expecting that in the beginning, but he does come back in the end. More on that later. Okay, so the first cameo, the one that actually got me to tear up in the movie a bit, and the one that like basically that actually really surprised me, or like not, or sort of surprised me, but though like one of the kids in the theater basically asked his mom's like, "Mom, who is this?" And like she didn't even know either. But there's a scene where like Sogo is in jail, right? That might have been in like the previews and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
He gets fucking tossed in jail.
Yeah, so basically he gets a motivational speech and fourth wall break by the character Kamen Norida.
Oh, I knew he was in the movie.
What?
Yeah, he basically gives like a really touching speech about, like, basically, first off, Kamen Norida is an illusion in the theater, or no, not in the theater, but like in the prison, right? But basically, he laments on how the fact he wasn't chosen as a Kamen Rider. He's like, I fought evil for like X amount of years, and yet I was never chosen to be a Kamen Rider. So then, Sogo, stop complaining about how your life sucks right now, because you were at least a Kamen Rider, like an official one, and like, I'm not official, but yet I still kept on fighting. What are you doing?
That is honestly hilarious.
It's hilarious, but honestly, like when you see it in the context of the movie, like
weird though.
And like he said, like there were generations of men that were chosen to fight evil. And basically he talks about like the past 20 years of like heroes standing up and like, you know, doing heroic things. Like those men were all chosen, but yet out of those 20 years he wasn't chosen. And it's just like
honestly, that's like yeah, that's really saddening, but also really funny, honestly.
Yeah, it's actually really funny, but at the same time, like I teared up in the theater a little bit.
All right, Toei, you're hearing it first. You know, if you wanted to raise ZIO, that's fine. We got to get a Kamen Rider Norita show.
Like, yeah, and then eventually the big climax of the movie. Yeah, so after Woz rips up his book, like Mach got his powers back, okay?
Uh-huh.
And then like at some random point, like you see some bad guys, like, and then you see like one of them get like slimed up basically by Kamen Rider Brain, his poison. So then, like basically at this point they're reusing a whole bunch of like they're basically reusing a whole lot of voice clips from like past shows and movies. So you have Kamen Rider Brain.
Wow.
And then you have Zangetsu Kachidoki arms literally appearing out of his poster for the stage show. And to be honest,
are they still using voice? Okay, so is he still using voice clips, or did they actually get him back?
They're using voice clips at this point.
Aww.
So just like Zangetsu Kachidoki arms, they did not get Kubota Yuki, unfortunately. But it was still really cool seeing like Zangetsu Kachidoki arms in action. Like in HD, big screen, all that.
In the flesh.
Yeah, in the flesh. And then you see the Go Riders come out of some dude's iPad with like the generic Showa voices.
Fucking hell.
What the fuck?
Of course we get the Go Riders. Of course. I can't get enough. You know, I can't get enough. I can't get away from these motherfuckers.
Yeah. And then next you see the true star, like the true hero. Kamen Rider fucking G.
What?
Kamen Rider G is in this movie.
No.
Yes, he's in the movie.
Kamen Rider G is in the movie, just like he does his giant G thing in the middle of a building. It's like if you're trying to protect things, doing this giant G in the middle of a town probably isn't the best idea, but he still does it anyways, and just like it was badass.
Holy shit, I'm surprised they actually got to use G.
Yeah, they use Kamen Rider G. And then you see this small book in the middle of the street getting trampled on. And it's a volume 1 of the Kamen Rider Kuga manga. And in this weird stop-motion-esque effect, like you see like Kamen Rider Kuga like on his bike, and then he rider kicks basically someone like the henchmen or like the foot soldiers in this movie.
That sounds really weird.
It was really weird. It was trippy.
That's pretty epic, honestly.
And just like he also like instead of basically like having an actual voice, he actually has like word bubbles. And like
okay.
basically for his intro, he basically says, "Ichijo-san, like please take a look at my battle." And just like then you see him like on his right, like on his bike. I think the Tri-Chaser 2000, and then like he rider kicks like the villains.
And this is all still like semi weird stop motion animated.
Yes.
Thing, right? Okay.
Yeah, that clip is on YouTube if you want to actually go take a look at that.
That's really fucking weird.
It is really weird. And then let's see. Aside from that, and then you have the final, like the last cameo after the credits. Basically, it's 01 again, and
01,
yeah.
01.
Yeah, that was actually a really cool battle. He fights Zonjis. He actually kills Zonjis, and then, like, you know, Zonjis, he has, like, basically that garbage can. Like, the garbage bags for a costume on him, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He actually removes the garbage bags, and he actually looks better. He looks like Shin. Like Kamen Rider Shin. And it
That's
actually,
crazy.
like, like a little bit like Kamen Rider Shin, but though 01 is actually highlighted really cool in this, like in these like last scenes.
They make him
And
look cool.
yeah, they made him look really cool, and I actually really appreciated it. So aside from that, though, like those are the biggest cameos that we do get in this movie. Aside from the fact that we also get like all 20 riders, or like all 19 final forms of the riders in here.
Oh wait, we get
And then aside from-
we get the final forms of every rider.
Yes, we do.
Okay, Chad, tell me right fucking now. Liner form or climax form?
Let's see. I believe it was liner form,
Fuck
and also
you all.
Kutochira combo.
Fuck all of y'all. Fuck you. You cunt.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I think it was. I believe it was liner form.
I'm sorry. I've had to hear that like 5 times this week, and every time it gets more annoying. So fuck y'all. It's liner
yeah,
form.
I don't know why we're still having this debate. Even I don't think that.
Nobody thinks that, but people keep fucking saying, but Trajador, it's such a good suit. That's why it's its final form. Fuck you. Alright? Eat me.
I'd say honestly, like I honestly say like Tajador is more symbolic than anything, rather than a final form.
Exactly. That's what everyone should say. But no, it's the final form because it's the last one he fought with. Fuck you. Anyways, keep going.
But yeah,
I've had to hear that so many times.
yeah, honestly, it was really cool. Like the last scenes, okay, or not even last scenes, but though I'm gonna go into like just interesting nods to like, I guess Heisei as like a whole. So
Actually,
first off,
I should ask.
yeah,
I don't think you. I don't know if you know or not. But who voiced the manga Kuga? I'm actually kind of interested.
he had no voice.
Oh my god, I forgot. Yeah. No, for some
basically-
reason, I keep thinking that I eventually spoke, but no, I guess you know what? That's an interesting way to get around getting Kuga back.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was actually, I didn't know how that was gonna work. Unfortunately, like I accidentally read a little bit of spoilers, literally like on the train to the movie. But aside
I
from that,
knew about the whole Kuga thing from like a month
Yeah.
before the movie came out because some guy just threw the spoilers. I mean, again, you okay? So when you tell me, oh, Kamen Rider Kuga in manga form's coming out, is
Yeah.
gonna be in the movie. I mean, obviously, I don't believe you because that just sounds stupid. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I don't think it is now. It's fucking true.
I mean, yeah, if somebody told me that, fucking G was in the movie, I wouldn't believe him either.
Or
But
Knight
I guess
Rider.
he's in the movie.
the clips are on YouTube if you guys want to see that. Again, just like I don't condone piracy. I did not leak the movie as a lot of you would think or ask.
Look, guys, we don't condone piracy, but here's a free eye patch and a parrot.
Yeah.
We don't condone piracy, but also piracy is very cool and not illegal at all.
No.
Yeah, I mean-
we don't condone piracy. We say as literally every show we watch is pretty much pirated.
Yeah, as we say, is we
Unfortunately.
don't pay for anything we do.
Yeah.
But as you were saying,
But yeah, really interesting nods to, I guess, Heisei history. When you first see the Zamonas' rider, like, he's actually dressed up like Takayama Jin of Amazons. He also has an armband on him.
that's weird.
Not like the official, like, like, armband that was seen on, like, Amazon Omega, for example.
Yeah.
But he's, like, dressed up in a black cardigan and, like, beat-up clothing and, like, really dark jeans. He looks edgy, but it's, like, he was ironically also played by the
Shin
same
was
guy who
edgy.
played... He was played by Ian Yorkland, or, like, Kyoryu Black's actor. Which is interesting. So, I mean, he's dressed up like Takayama Jin. Like, just really small details. Kamen Rider Zonjis' actor, he speaks like a caveman. And he was
Why?
also dressed up like Kamen Rider ZIO.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah,
Neat.
and he also does, like, the J pose as well. And it's just like, okay, so they are literally doing, like, basically all three of them at once for that guy. Also, interesting tidbit about Zamonas' henshin. He actually has the flame effect. And just,
Ooh.
it mimics the Amazon's, like, the Amazon style of henshin. Like, he basically explodes and just, like, I think, like, it's a small, like, I guess, body language, action that some of the main writers did. But it's like, they were actually sort of curious about the flames. It's like, yo, where the hell did these flames come from? And they're just like, that's sort of crazy.
You know what?
Like,
I just you're kind of telling me this now, and I'm kind of thinking like, we've never actually finished Amazon ZIO. We did seasons 1 and 2, but we didn't do the movie.
We did season 1 and 2. Well, we did season 2. I don't know about season 1. We still never did the movie, but I don't even know if the movie ever got fucking subbed. So.
No, the movie got subbed, and frankly, it's depressing. That's all I'll say about that.
Oh no, yeah, I've heard it's fucking garbage. So
It's a giant trash fire. Either way,
I'm surprised
because Jess and I did one. The second one we all did, and then now we have to do the movie.
We're like 2 years overdue with that.
We are. But I think, let me see. I think that's about it, isn't there? I think that's everything that there's to say about that movie, pretty much.
There's actually a few more details that I actually did want to go over a little bit.
Alright.
Let's see. Fake Tokiwasogo, or basically Box, or like Black RX dude. His henshin really mimics, I guess, the henshin of Black RX, in which, like, you have that angle of his hand towards the sun, and, like, you know... Like, I think,
does it have the angry clenching noises?
I believe it does.
Because that's 10 out of 10. You need the angrier clenching noises.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see what else. Fun fact, the Amazon's ride watches did not do anything in this movie. They did not do anything. So, basically... The 2 or like 3 ride watches that did get used were, let's see, it was the J watch, in which the Black RX rider makes himself big, like gigantic, like a friggin' like Ultraman villain or whatever, or Ultraman. The Bio Rider watch was used to make himself made out of water.
Okay.
The Black RX dude. So, which is like, it's interesting, right? Like, these ride watches are actually being utilized. And then the Robo Rider watch was used by Zonjis when he was fighting 01 in order to make himself literally shoot, and I kid you not, boob missiles.
Titty missiles.
Titty missiles indeed. So, yeah. But I mean, aside from that though, like, overall, like, it's not a bad movie. I had a lot of fun with it. Like, this isn't really going, I guess... We didn't go much into, like, super plot territory. We did hit, like, a lot of main points. But, personally, I had a lot of fun with the movie, as stupid as it was. And not considering how stupid Geo is. It's a fun ride.
It's kind of hard to do a full plot synopsis because, I mean, you know, you watched it without subtitles, and we haven't seen it at all. I mean, I've seen, you know, obviously some clips, but, like, I haven't seen the entire movie yet, and, you know, that movie won't come out till, like... probably next year in like February or something.
Yeah, honestly, probably like January or February if I had to be honest. But I feel like this was definitely a better movie than Heisei Generations Forever.
That's not hard.
Yeah, definitely it wasn't that hard, and it was, I'd say, a worthy tribute to the Heisei era as that ends. As you had so many cameos, and frankly, like, actually, like, I thought there were decent action scenes. It was fun. It was definitely a fun ride from start to finish.
This kind of feels, in a weird way, this from what you're saying, it felt more like, it felt less of a Heisei celebration and more of a Showa celebration.
Oh,
because you got, I mean, G is very much a Showa inspired, you know, parody writer. You got Nori Rider, who he's literally a fucking like a, you know, he's literally a parody of the first one.
Yes.
You had fucking, yeah, and, you know, you can say, you know, Amazon's, you know, he's basically based off Amazon's, but, you know, Amazon still. Black RX with Shin, J, and ZIO. I mean, there you go as well. Like, it feels more like it's celebrating the Showa era in a weird way.
Yeah, like, honestly, it was definitely, like, I really enjoyed it just as a tribute to, like, the end of the Heisei era, and just, like, there were nice callbacks to, like, history, like, the history of the show as it's been through.
You would think for some, I don't know, for some reason you would think they would have gotten back Black's actor.
Yeah, that would have been nice, honestly, but, I mean, aside from that, they already had, like, a bunch of, well, actually, not a bunch of cameos, but, like, I'm pretty sure getting Krim Steinbelt or Chris Pepler to come back was I don't know. That was probably a little more expensive, but like, I know he's a big star now. A little bit more of a big star.
I know. I'm sure they probably spent a lot on the on getting G there, considering his whole situation.
Yeah, like, but yeah.
Well, alrighty then. Well, everybody, I know what you're waiting for because you probably already read it in the title as well. And we're also going to make a video about this anyways. I'll cut like this audio and we'll make a video of it too.
Yeah.
So, Chad, you didn't just go see the movie. You got things and things that we're actually going to give. So, Chad, please, Chad, without making me suffer, please tell us, what do you have?
So, yeah, as you know, I was in Japan. I can't hammer in that fact hard enough. But
I thought you were in Korea.
Oh, yeah. I mean, surprise, surprise. But anyways, I didn't just go see the movie. I came back with some presents. So, basically, we're going to be doing a little bit of a giveaway, because why not celebrate the fact that we are over 5K followers on Podbean. We've been here for 4 years plus. And simply, you know what? We love you guys, and like, why not celebrate the end of the Heisei era with a little bit of a giveaway, just like this movie. So, we have 3 different prizes, all of which will be coming with a miniature poster of the ZIO and Ryu Soldier movie. So, the first prize that we will be giving away will be a set of 4 Ryu Souls from Kishiryu Sentai Ryu Soldier, their Gashapon Ryu Souls, of the red, black, green, and Seal Souls. Let's see. Next, we will be giving away a deluxe Kuga Ride Watch. Because what a way to celebrate the end of the Heisei era than with the deluxe gimmick of the latest rider of the first rider that we've seen here.
I mean, hey, makes sense.
I know, right? Probably that was a little confusing. But still, we're giving away DX Kuga Ride Watch. Enjoy.
There you go.
And last but not least, since the Heisei era ended and we are now living in the future, we will also be giving away the deluxe Falcon Progrise key from Kamen Rider 01.
Well, Chad, now that you have announced the prizes, please tell us, how the hell do we win these things?
Okay, so how can you win these things? Thank you for asking. Well, first off, give us your name and email address, and also your credit card number and your social security number, because we need money.
Don't forget the numbers on the back, kids.
Thank you. That's much appreciated, Jay. But aside from that, kidding all aside, yeah, we will have a Google form in the description below, or in this video, or wherever this is posted. And basically, we want you guys to tell us 3 things. First off, your favorite Sentai or rider from the Heisei era. Or Ultra, I don't know. Why not include Ultra? We don't do Ultra, but that's okay. They're also heroes. Second, your favorite moment from the Heisei era. Could be from Sentai, Ultra, or Kamen Rider.
Just so you know, if you choose anything from Ghost of Zero, you're automatically disqualified, sorry.
Yeah. And then lastly...
Kid. Maybe. I don't know. I'm not involved with this.
And then lastly, we want you guys to tell us what your favorite episode of the podcast is with us. Mainly because we've been here for 4 years, and honestly, we want to say thank you for listening.
And for the love of God, do not choose the ones that we did where I had to use my phone. Actually, you know what? If you choose ones that I had to use my phone on, I will know you're lying.
But yeah, aside from that though, just some few notes. One, this will be United States only. Sorry for those in Canada or other parts of the world. Shipping is expensive. 2, there will only be 1 entry per form, or per email. So if you have like 2 names or whatever, or 2 emails, don't bother, because we will only choose 1. So I mean, in the end, it's still honor system, but I mean, yeah, don't be that guy in which like you send in like 2 and then, I don't know, be unfair to other people.
Yeah.
And lastly, please be over the age of 18. If we have some younger viewers, definitely get like a parent's permission to enter this.
If we have anybody under 18 listening, go to fuck to bed. It's bedtime. Don't you got school tomorrow? Get out of here.
But yeah, aside from that, we will have a Google Forms up, and then but you have until September 30th by midnight. So after September 30th, we will basically pick 3 names, and then we will eventually email you / ask you for more information, like where we can ship your items to.
We should stress. It's gonna be midnight Pacific, right? Your time.
Yeah, Pacific time.
There you go.
So
midnight Pacific time. So if you're on the East Coast, just do everything accordingly, as they say.
yes. So in the end, yeah, we have a little bit of a giveaway, and good luck to all those who enter.
Well, alrighty then, Chad. Well, that being said, thank you guys for listening to our TELEBIKUN extra, and I hope whoever enters the giveaway actually wins the giveaway. If you don't win and you entered, well, I guess you just didn't win. I don't know what to say there. So, this is Adrian from the Toku Podcastu signing off for Chad and Jay. We'll see you guys in the next episode, full-length episode of the podcast. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye.